Mike Radich here, and I'm now joined on the phone by World Series of Fighting Featherweight Mike Corey. Mike, how are you?
I'm doing awesome. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Mike, you got a fight coming up March 29th at World Series of Fighting 9. How's training been going for the fight?
Oh, it's been going awesome. It's the best I've ever felt, and I'm super motivated, ready to go, and yeah, I feel super.
Mm-hmm. Now, it's been a while since we've seen you in action. The last time you fought was back in April of 2012 when you fought in Bellator against Daniel Strauss. What's been the holdup? Why haven't we seen you fight in basically 2 years?
I tore my ACL in training a little bit after that fight. I was getting ready for another Bellator fight. So I tore my ACL, I had to go get knee surgery and go through the rehab and all that, and that took a long-ass time, and then I was getting ready, and I had a couple fights fall through, and then I got signed with World Series, and so it was mainly the rehab and just dealing with the surgery.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just curious, what exactly happened with Bellator? Because there's not too many guys under their banner that, are 1-1-1 that they're willing to part with, and the guy that you lost to, Daniel Strauss, just was fighting a guy you know very well, Pat Curran, for the title, and he was the champion at the time. Pat Curran beat him, but you get my point. He was the champion. So the only loss you've had under their banner was to one of the top guys in the promotion. So what happened there? Why are you with World Series of Fighting now?
Yeah, they kept me around, and I was trying to get back into the tournament, but just the rehab wasn't going as fast as I wanted to, and so I just had to keep bailing out of the tournament. I bailed out another tournament, and then finally, I guess my contract expired, and then my management just they were looking around, and they got a really good deal with World Series, so decided to go there and got a nice, good multi-fight deal, and I'm pretty happy about it.
Mm-hmm. Now, what exactly was the behind-the-scenes stuff with Bellator? Was it just that your contract had expired with them and you were just a free man, or was it something where they're like, what, you're not healthy, you've opted out of a couple tournaments, we're just gonna let you go, get healthy, and then maybe if things work out, you can come back to us, and if not, it's okay. What exactly happened with them, behind the scenes?
Yeah, I mean, it was no bad blood or nothing like that. It was just, my contract expired, and I just became a free agent, and then I went with, World Series. But, I mean, Bellator is always an option maybe down the road, but right now I'm just focused on World Series. I just wanted a place where I could, I could get some fights and, just stay active, and World Series seemed like a good opportunity for that.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Now, you've been out since April of 2012 with these injuries. You're going to be fighting here in March coming up, but when exactly were you healthy enough to take a fight? You're going to be making your debut in March, but, January, December of last year, could you have been able to fight?
Yeah, I could have. I was supposed to fight over in Finland, and I was super excited about that. That might even have been in November. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember. I'm terrible with months. But yeah, I was training for that, and then my opponent got a call to the UFC, so that got scrapped. But and then I just had to wait around, for World Series to happen. But I've been healthy for a while. I mean, I've been training, so it's just been a matter of just finding the right fight and just getting that fight.
Mm-hmm. So you were supposed to fight in Finland for Cage against Tom Milanaki?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Okay.
You're right. You're a smart man.
Thank you. Now, are you still training out of Team Curran?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I see. And I have to bring it up because it was such a great fight. What were your thoughts about that performance Pat Curran had? It was amazing. I always thought that the George Santiago, Kazuo Masaki, I don't know if you remember this fight. It took place in Japan in Sengoku a long time ago. And that fight ended in the 5th round, and it was crazy because they threw in the towel. Masaki's corner threw in the towel, even though he was up 3-1 going into that 5th round. I always thought that was one of the craziest 5th round title fights pulled out of the hat. One of those I've ever seen. But this Curran fight was better than that because he's, Jeff Curran's telling him, hey, you got to get a stoppage to win, and then he goes out and gets it. So overall, what were your thoughts about that fight?
Oh man, it was awesome. I mean, I was watching it at home, just It was great, man. I was rooting, I was yelling at the TV, like it was a person, and it was just so awesome. And then when he got his back, I'm like, oh gosh, he's gonna get it. And he goes, and then I saw that down. I was like, I'm all by, I'm all by myself. It's like I was watching it on my DVR, and the people, my neighbors, probably thought, someone was getting murdered because I'm screaming and all that. But dude, it was awesome, and he deserves it. He trains his ass off, and he's a stud, and Daniel's no joke either. He's been getting better and better, and he's tough as hell. But yeah, that's Pat just showed what it's all about. You just never stop, never give up, and why MMA is so cool and way better than baseball. Any crazy thing can happen in that last minute, so it's pretty sweet.
Yeah, I did the same thing. I watched it on DVR, and when the submission happened, I popped up. I was screaming and yelling. I was like, oh my God, this is awesome. He was down, and then he was able to pull it out at the end there. Now, it's hard to say because, I'm sure that Daniel Strauss didn't know how much time was left, but were you surprised that he didn't just, go to sleep, that he tapped? Because I was kind of surprised about that. I thought he was just going to, because he was caught, he was winning the fight, he was up. I thought he was just, if the submission was locked on, that he just wasn't going to tap. Were you surprised by that?
Not really, because you never know how much time you have in there, and it's like, or at least especially in that angle where you have no chance of really like looking up at the clock or anything like that, he probably didn't know how much time was left, and once you start feeling it, it's like, oh good, okay, it's either I'm going to go to sleep now or I'm going to tap now, but either now it's not, the bell's not beeping, so I can't do nothing. And and I was jumping around too. I had to go corner some guys at an amateur fight, and I told everybody, like, no spoilers, nobody spoil alert. And then a couple of people were texting me about the fights. I'm like, hey, I haven't seen them, going to watch them tonight, no spoilers. And I'm getting these texts of like, holy crap, did you? And I'm like, no, don't tell me nothing. So I knew something like crazy happened, but I didn't, know what. And that choke at the fifth round was awesome. But yeah, who knows? Daniel could have thought maybe there was 2 minutes left, or maybe there was 2 seconds left. In that mode, you never know.
Right, definitely. Now, when a teammate of yours has a great performance like that, is that something that motivates you to, when you get into the cage the next time, to have a great performance like that? Is that something that you think about?
Oh yeah, super motivating. It's inspiring. It shows you, just what it's all about, and it's cool that you get to train with those people. So you're like, man, he is good. Well, okay, maybe it's not so bad when he, chokes me out a few times during practice. It's cool. It's definitely motivating.
Mm-hmm. I'm just curious, who are the main guys that you go against in practice? You've got a pretty good stable there of lighter weight guys, so I'm just curious, who do you go against?
Oh, let's see who we got. We got Pat, Charlie Radke, he's a beast. Who else do I like to train with? I'm trying to think about guys my size. We've been training with some Mark Homnick's guys. There's a relationship with Curran's gym and their gym, so we went up to Canada for a week and got to train with a bunch of those guys, Sam Stout, Horodecki, and then they recently came down to Chicago to train for a week too, so I got to work with a bunch of those guys, guys like that.
Oh, I see.
Oh, sorry, and Corey Galloway.
Oh.
Definitely been working a lot. Corey Galloway is a beast too, and I've been working. We train a lot together. We're similar size. I'm a little bigger, but he's a beast.
Mm-hmm. Now, Bart Pawlowski, he just retired. Does he still come into the gym, or is he completely done?
I haven't really seen him training, but yeah, he came in and said, "What's up?"
Oh, I see. And also, Mackin Semenzer, does he still train with you guys?
I think he doesn't come in regularly. I think he lives like in New York or something. I haven't seen him recently.
Oh,
but he's came out and done the same thing, like stayed for a week at the gym. But no, I don't think he lives here.
Oh,
or I haven't seen him recently.
Oh, okay. Now, coming up on March 29th, you're going to be fighting Shane Kirchen. What are your thoughts about him as an opponent?
He's a tough guy. He's scrappy. He's long, too, so, that's always a tough thing to deal with. And, yeah, I mean, he's a tough, good fighter. He's got good jits, and I think it'll be a cool, fun fight.
Just curious, where do you feel that you have the advantage in this fight?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be more athletic, and I think I'll be able to use that to take wherever it is to my advantage. So I think I can use my athleticism standing up, and if it goes to the ground, I think I can use my athleticism to, stay on top and do some damage from there.
Now, how many fights do you have with the World Series of Fighting? Is it a 3-fight, 4-fight deal? What do you have?
3 fights, I believe.
Now, if I'm not mistaken, this fight's going to be on the main card. Is that right?
Yes. Yeah.
Because I was a little bit worried because I thought that they were just going to do a 4-fight deal because a 4-fight bill for the card because they had 2 title fights, but then Okami was added onto the card a little bit later, so I was not real sure if you were still going to be on the main card, but you are. So
yeah, I was the same way. I was like, oh man, I'm like, that's awesome to see Okami fight, but I was like, damn you, Okami. But
right.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm on there, which is pretty sweet. So all my friends can watch and family.
Now, I'm just curious, do you have any worries about ring rust?
Yeah, I mean, no, not really. Just because I have, I've just been training for so long, because I had that Finland fight fall through, and no, not really. I mean, training's been really hard, and I feel prepared, more prepared than I've ever felt, and so no, not really. I mean, maybe a smidge, but I know once I get in there and I start bouncing around, it'll be just another sparring session.
Now, Mike, I wanted to change gears on you a little bit. I wanted to, take your mind off the fight. I know you've been thinking about it for a while now, and you want to get back in there, but I thought I'd change some things up on you and change gears a little bit. I'm going to take a wild shot in the dark and say you're a pretty big comic book fan.
Oh, dude, I'm a huge comic book nerd.
Yeah. Just curious, who tattooed you? Who was your artist? You have a nice piece on your left arm, is it? Maybe it's your right arm, I'm not sure. But it looks like a very good piece. Give some credit out here. Who did that?
That was my buddy Abel out at Thin Line Tattoo out here in Plainfield.
Well, he did a great job.
No, Oh, thanks. Yeah, he knows his stuff. I mean, it was a long-ass process, but... Yeah, and that was right about after I got my knee injury. It's like, it was like I had nothing to do. I couldn't train. I've been wanting this sleeve for the longest time. So I was like, well, might as well do something productive. So I just would go in there, with my what are those called that you walk around with? Not stilts. Crutches.
Crutches.
Yeah, I'd go in there with my crutches and just be in there for 6 hours getting tatted up, and but no, Abel, he's real talented out in Thin Line Tattoo. He's awesome.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned that because the last time I saw you fight, you didn't have that, and I was like, is this the same Mike Corey? I mean, I thought he fought for Bellator, and now he's got this sleeve. Is this the same guy? And so it's funny you brought that up. Who exactly is on your arm there? I see the Hulk, I see Superman, I see Batman. Anybody else on there?
Yeah, good question. It's my top 5. You got Hulk, Superman, Batman, Deadpool. Am I missing somebody? Oh, and the Black Spider-Man.
Oh, okay. And
Symbiote Spider-Man.
Now, I'm just curious, what are you more of a fan of? Are you a fan of DC or Marvel?
Growing up, I was all about Marvel, but as I've, experience more and more, I'm pretty much 50-50. I read it all, and I read a lot of independent stuff too. I mean, but growing up it was Marvel, but DC's got a lot of good stuff too. I mean, it's just kind of whatever your mood is at that time frame.
Now, could you rank what you're more into? The comic books, the movies, the TV shows, the video games. I'm sure you're a fan of all that stuff. Could you rank what you're interested in the most?
I think it just really depends on the vision of it. I mean, don't get me wrong, if done right, the movies, I would say, probably impact you the most because it's got the most media. You're watching something, you're hearing something, you're seeing it, that's going to impact you the most. But there's also a lot of ways you can screw that up. So, it just kind of depends. I mean, if you read a really good graphic novel, you can kind of, that's a little more customizable because you're reading it, so it's like you're putting the voices in your head and the little, in between the panels, that's your own brain working together. But, probably the things that's, media that has impacted me the most, the Dark Knight trilogy. I mean, I don't know. That's probably had like the biggest impact on me recently. Well, and then I don't know, I'm just thinking about my history, and then like reading Maximum Carnage when I was growing up. I mean, that was cool as hell. Yeah, I guess movies are probably hit me the biggest, but graphic novels are where it's all at, and so I mean they're the birthplace of all this media. So I mean you got to give credit to that.
Now, do you watch Arrow and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
No, I've heard awesome things about Arrow, but no, I haven't watched Arrow. I'm sure I'll check it out. Like, I want to watch the seasons, all through. So once a few seasons come out, I'll check it out. And haven't watched Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Just doesn't really. I mean, just because it's got comic books, based on comic books, doesn't mean I'm going to watch it.
Right.
And like I want to see more superheroes. I don't want to see just regular agents and like super CIA guys. It just doesn't intrigue me. And I know they're throwing more and more superheroes into it, but still, I don't really care about S.H.I.E.L.D. S.H.I.E.L.D.'s usually like the least interesting thing to me. If I wanted to watch FBI stuff, I'd go watch FBI. I want to see. I don't know. I want to see superheroes.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'm not a real big fan of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Like, I don't really get interested in those kind of like drama shows like that. Like, I mean, just because they slapped, Marvel and some characters from the comic books in there, like, I really don't have any interest in that. But Arrow, I love that show. I think it's the best show on TV. You got to check that out. Now, Mike.
Yeah, I heard they got
Oh yeah.
I mean, cut you off, but
go ahead.
Deathstroke's in there too.
Oh yeah. He's like kind of the main bad guy, I guess you would say. Like that's what they're kind of setting up, I'd say, as of right now. So yeah, he's got a real big part in that show. Because him and Oliver Queen, Green Arrow, they were on the island together, so they're kind of setting that up. Not to spoil anything, but yeah.
No, yeah. I was just so like anything on CW, I'm like, ugh, like small, like people assume, oh, Mike, you watch Smallville? I'm like, no, I don't watch Smallville. And they not taking anyone that watches Smallville, but it's just like I don't need to see like teenage Superman and teenage Lex Luthor and all this like teenage teeny bopper stuff. It's like it just seems weak to me. So I'm good, but yeah, I'll definitely check out Arrow. Looks cool.
Yeah, Arrow is kind of like everything good about Smallville, and then mixed with like Dark Knight. Dark Knight Rises, the Nolan Batman trilogy. It's kind of like a cross between that. So I think you'll enjoy it. But anyways, Mike, I was thinking about it last night, and I put together 16 comic book hero, supervillain, whatever you want to call it, MMA fights. And now, if you're interested in talking about some of these and giving us like how you would think the fight would play out and who would win, if you want to do that, can we do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah. Now, so are these fights like, okay, you say they're MMA fights, so do they have to stay in the cage? They're not allowed to like jump out of the cage and like use weapons and
stuff like that? This is like free for all. This is like they can use certain powers that don't involve like weapons. So like I didn't put the Punisher in here because he uses like all machine guns and stuff like that. Like I tried to get ones that are like just they have superpowers, but they could use them in an MMA situation.
Okay, gotcha. Okay. Shoot, let's do this.
Okay, all right. First one's up. Beast from X-Men versus Lobo from Superman.
Ooh, good shit. I like that. Physically, I'd have to go with Lobo, but Beast is going to be smart as hell. But it's an MMA fight, so it's not like he has any like tech advantages. I'll go Lobo.
Okay.
I think that actually plays to his favor. That it's just a cage, and you're just MMA gloves and just scrapping.
Okay. Next up, Killer Croc from Batman or the Lizard from Spider-Man?
Killer Croc.
Okay. Next up, Elektra from Daredevil or Black Canary from Green Arrow?
Ooh, that's a good one. So Canary can use her sound power, right?
Yeah. Yep. Anything that doesn't involve a weapon. So like Elektra can't use her daggers or any of that. Just using what they have. If anything, like kind of superpowers like that, just like in an MMA setting, like we're using unified rules, 3 5-minute rounds, no stomps, kicks, knees to the head of a ground opponent, stuff like that. So
yeah, well, yeah, I definitely would go with Canary because she's talented in martial arts too. And then you take away Elektra's Psy and ninja like stars and stuff. I mean, that's putting her at a disadvantage too. So yeah, I'd definitely go with Canary.
Okay. Next up, Supergirl or She-Hulk?
Ooh. is another good one. Well, definitely Supergirl's got more powers, but we're talking about just in a cage banging it out. This is a good one, but then she's a little more well-rounded because she's got flight and all that. I'll go, and that's kind of like I'll go She-Hulk. She's a little grittier. I think she'll take the punishment and just end up ground and pounding and just, keep it close quarters.
Okay. Next up, Sandman from Spider-Man or Clayface from Batman?
Ooh, this is another good one. I think this one will be just a draw. I think they'll end up just like fusing together into like one giant Siamese twins. So I don't see how they would either one would really put them away.
That's true. Okay, next up, Juggernaut from X-Men or Sabretooth, also from X-Men?
Oh, I definitely go Juggernaut. Definitely Juggernaut. I mean, he's a beast.
Next up, Superman or Spawn?
Ooh, that would be pretty fun. Huh? That would be pretty cool. Gotta go with Superman though. Just when you're talking about just brute power, definitely Superman.
Next up, Iron Man or Steel from Superman?
Oh, okay, but they both have their suits.
Yep, both have their suits, but just no weapons. So he can't Steel can't have his hammer or anything like that.
Can Tony use like his plasma blasters and all that, or
no? But he can like fly around. He can do that. But,
okay,
yeah,
gotcha. Oh, I'd go with Steel because Tony's never been really trained. I know he's picked up a few things from Cap just on how to fight, but he's always relied on his tech, and I'll go with Steel. Steel's got a little more street to him. He knows how to use his suit, like actually throw punches and whatnot.
Next up, from Fantastic Four, Mr. Fantastic versus DC's Plastic Man.
Oh, cool. This would be another one that, this would be hard for them to finish. But I would definitely go Mr. Fantastic because if they're going to find a way, I don't know how you would choke out a guy that's, that's neck can get contorted into a million spots. But if someone's going to figure out a way to defeat another plastic dude, it would be Mr. Fantastic. He's one of the smartest men in the Marvel Universe, so definitely, he would figure out a way. Maybe he could, even, I don't know, go inside of Plastic Man and then expand himself to a region where, Plastic Man can't function or something, So, I'd go Mr. Fantastic.
Definitely. Now, next up, Solomon Grundy versus Colossus from X-Men.
Ooh, this is another good one. Huh? Man, I'm rooting for Colossus, but Grundy's just more powerful. Now, a little more competitive match would be, I think, the Colossus Juggernaut versus Grundy. Now, that would be more competitive, but if it's just the straight normal Colossus, I'd go with Grundy. He's hung with, the big guns of DC, and, Colossus is a beast, but he's not at that level.
Okay. Next up, Bane from Batman versus Venom from Spider-Man.
Oh, that would be awesome. Gotta go with Venom. Gotta go with Venom. When it's all said and done, Bane is still a human with just with the drugs and all that. Venom's an alien with all sorts of abilities, so I definitely go with Venom.
Okay. Next up, the Green Goblin versus the Hobgoblin.
Gotta go with Green Goblin. OG, he's the original. He's gonna find a way to win. And they don't have weapons, but Norman Osborn, he's also super duper smart, so he'd figure out a way to win. And
Okay. Next up, the Kingpin from Daredevil versus the Blob from X-Men.
Oh, the Battle of the Fatties.
Right. Yep. Definitely in the super heavyweight division here.
Yeah. Well, I think they would both lose to diabetes.
That's funny.
I think they both lose the insulin shot. Unless someone throws in them like a candy bar, I think their insulin spikes and they both pass out at the beginning of the first round.
That's great. Okay, that's a good answer. Okay, next up, Darkseid from Superman versus from Fantastic Four, The Thing.
Oh, man. Oh, Darkseid. Darkseid would rape him.
Okay.
Yeah, Thing doesn't have a chance. One blast with the Omega beams, and Thing would be gravel.
Okay. Next up, the Flash versus, from X-Men, Nightcrawler.
Ooh, that'd be kind of cool. You gotta go with Flash. I mean, in that close quarters, it would be kind of tough. But, Flash. With the Speed Force, man, I mean, there's so many crazy things he could do. I could see him grabbing Nightcrawler, and even though he could teleport, still, be able to push him, he's just that fast in, a little cage like that. And, Flash would end up picking him apart.
Okay. And now our main event, I guess you could say, our last fight, Doomsday from Superman or the Hulk?
Oh, man, I thought about this fight, too. I've looked this up before on YouTube and all that, and listened to people's debates and all that. See, this is a really great fight because both guys have healing factors. Depending on what Hulk version you're going, you can both have brainless, mindless, just killing machines. The question really becomes, Doomsday is the king of adaptation. He dies and he comes back stronger.
Right.
He's all about survival. So, even if you do beat him, he's going to find a way to come back eventually and evolve. And then with Hulk, the question is, okay, he becomes stronger the more angry he gets. Well, what's the limit to your rage,
Mm-hmm.
If it's an MMA fight, I don't think Hulk's rage could be at the max capacity. Let's say Doomsday killed his whole family.
Mm-hmm.
Then it would be a little more competitive, because then Hulk would have that rage. I got to go with Doomsday.
Okay.
If it's just straight banging it out, and there's no real backstory, like some of the stuff that happened in World War Hulk, where Hulk gets straight up really pissed. I got to go with Doomsday.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Now, was there any matchup on here that I didn't name off that you would like to see?
Well, I mean, you definitely you sparked my imagination with a couple of these ideas. I would love to see Darkseid versus Hulk. What were some other ones? Venom and Colossus would always be really neat. Kind of reminds me of the Marvel versus Capcom games. I mean, that was always cool. Those would be some interesting ones.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
No Deadpool though.
I was debating on putting Deadpool versus Deathstroke, but then I'm the Deathstroke utilizes a sword and some weapons. So I was debating about that one. I was really thinking about putting that one together, but I decided to go with these. But I think
no, you're right, because it's kind of taken away their coolest attributes, being able to use weapons and all that. But I'm trying to think of another healing factor dude besides Wolverine that would be competitive. Nobody really comes to mind, but.
I didn't want to put in Wolverine because his adamantium claws is his main thing. I didn't want to put Cyclops in there because the powerful beams that he shoots out and some of that. So I was trying to stay away from that. Now, who do you think would make the best MMA fighter? Because I was thinking about this one too, because it could be Doomsday because of his powers, but also I was thinking somebody like Dr. Octopus. He could be somebody great because for submissions he's got all these extra limbs. He could be tying people up into pretzels. So who do you think would make the best MMA fighter of the universe of DC and Marvel and all the others?
That's an awesome question. Because I think it should be more than just brute strength.
Mm-hmm.
I think we should also, because intelligence is really important, especially in MMA. So that's why I don't want to just throw out obvious answers like Hulk and Doomsday, because maybe Mr. Fantastic could find a way to choke Doomsday out temporarily. Mm-hmm. Enough where the doctor or the ref would stop the fight, and he would have a win on his record, and then Doomsday would come back, but by the time Doomsday wakes up, Mr. Fantastic is long gone. So I'm trying to think of a good combination of awesome intelligence and just tough as hell. I'm going to say someone that you haven't said.
Okay.
Let's go with I'll throw out just. This isn't really going off the intelligence, but I'll go with Carnage, dude. He's reckless. Mm-hmm. He's brutal. He's got kind of the Venom powers and all that, but I could see him being ruthless, and it'd be really difficult to put him away. And I mean, shoot, he was a serial killer before he even got any power, so his mindset is in that just close quarters destroying mode. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'll say Carnage.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I thought about doing like Carnage versus General Zod. I thought that would be kind of a fun one.
Ooh, that would.
About that. Yeah, but yeah. I was thinking about doing that one, but I didn't want to get too crazy here. I mean, 16 fights we just went over. Let's not overdo it,
Yeah, we don't want to sound like nerds or anything.
Yeah, right. Now, there's been internet debates and all kinds of stuff going around about the upcoming Batman versus Superman movie, or Batman, Superman, or Superman and Batman, whatever the title, Man of Steel 2, whatever the title is. There's been all these debates about there of what kind of Batman Ben Affleck will make. What's your take on it? Obviously the movie hasn't come out yet, and none of the plot has really been revealed. I mean, a little bit here and there, and some of it are rumors. I don't know, about reading too much into it, but what do you think of it? Do you think he'll do a pretty good job?
Yeah, you know what? I mean, no matter what, I'm going to be at that showing midnight, right. So as much crap as I can talk about it, they're going to get my $10,
right?
At midnight. But I was super disappointed with Ben Affleck being Batman. It's just like, and there's several reasons. One, I don't think he's that talented of an actor to pull that off. Yes, I know he did Argo, and he's got some hits as a director. Awesome, but to be Batman, no, I don't think he has the chops for it. And two, I think it's so much better when you have an actor that isn't necessarily so mainstream, because when we watch that movie, it's going to be, hey, look, it's Ben Affleck in a Batman costume. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be, hey, it's Batman.
Right.
When Nolan, when what's his name? With Dark Knight. Why am I drawing a blank?
Christian Bale.
Yeah, Christian Bale. Yeah. That was before he was super popular, so it was like, we could buy into that being Batman more. So yeah, I'm not happy with it. I'm still going to see it. And then Jesse Eisenberg being Lex Luthor, I don't know what they're doing with this. Like, I'm okay with them doing a younger Lex Luthor, but I don't know. Eisenberg kind of annoys me. The whole I'm an awkward guy all the time, and it's just, that's going to be Lex Luthor. I mean, maybe it's going to be a flashback, but they're 0 for 2 right now, and I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it at all.
I agree with everything you just said, because when I see Ben Affleck, I'm going to be thinking, this is Ben Affleck, the guy from the Clerks movies and Pearl Harbor and all those other movies that he was in. I'm going to think of that. I'm not going to think of Batman. And with Jesse Eisenberg, I'm going to be thinking about Social Network. I'm going to be, there's the guy from Facebook. So I agree with you. I'm definitely with you there.
He's going to have his awkward talk, Batman, Superman, what's going on? It's like, come on, dude. I mean, and that's what was great about Man of Steel. I didn't know who the hell that guy was, but he sure as hell looked like Superman, and I totally bought into it, and it was awesome, man. I mean, yes, there's been other Batmans that have been popular. You had, Val Kilmer sucked, and George Clooney sucked, but you had Michael Keaton, and yeah, he was a name dude at the time, and people were critiquing him on that, but still, it's just, I don't know, man. I so wish they would have, and I'm not saying you got to pick some no-name guy, but pick someone with some chops. How about Michael Fassbender? I mean, dude, I love that dude, and I think he could have pulled off a cool, cool Batman. I mean, that would have been cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of like the same thing they did with Green Lantern. Ryan Reynolds, I mean, I like him. He's a good actor, but he's a comedian. He's not an action hero.
Yeah, and it's look, it's Ryan Reynolds playing Green Lantern, not, hey, it's Hal Jordan. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, that sucks.
Mm-hmm. I would like to see Michael Jai White be Green Lantern. I think he's a badass.
Who's he from?
He was Spawn. He was Spawn in the 90s.
Yeah. That guy. Okay, yeah, that would have been cool.
Yeah. He's an Arrow now. He's one of the bad guys in Arrow. So I like him. I would have liked him better in that role than Ryan Reynolds. But with the Batman and Superman movie, there's a lot of rumors going out there that this is going to be like a lead-in to a Justice League movie. Do you think that's what they're kind of trying to do because they've already cast someone as Wonder Woman? Do you think that's what this movie could lead to?
I think that's their plan. That's another thing I'm worried about is them throwing too much on the plate. It's going to be like a Spider-Man 3, but hey, I mean, I don't know. I don't see how. I would just be happy with Batman and Superman. I feel like that's enough, to really I feel like that's enough. But word on the street is that Wonder Woman is going to be more. She's basically going to be Kryptonian. She's not going to be like from the Amazon island and all that.
Right.
So I could see that maybe working more. It's not as much to explain. So hey, man, if they think it can work, I mean, go for it. I mean, they definitely need to introduce Wonder Woman sooner or later. So.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you a little bit disappointed that they're not going off and just giving Superman like his own movie series? Because like there could be so many things that they could explore with Superman that wasn't done in the Christopher Reeve Superman series. Like what if like in the second or third movie that they do with Superman, like he dies and like it's a cliffhanger till the next movie comes out, like Doomsday kills him and Superman dies at the end of the movie. Like that would be sweet if you had like 2 years go by of us wondering what's going to happen in the next movie. Like, are you a little bit disappointed that they're not giving Superman his own series? They're throwing Batman and all these other characters in with him.
No, because you can still get all that. I mean, we can have this Batman Superman tie-in movie,
right?
Introduce the universe a little bit. And then, just like with Marvel, then have our single Man of Steel movies, have our single Captain America movies. So, no, I mean, I appreciate them, not following Marvel's exact steps and like, we got to introduce one character at a time for the big Justice League movie. It's like, hey, cool, let's have a little tie-in movie. I would have really loved Iron Man 3 a lot better, which I didn't really like it that much. If they would have thrown in, like, Bruce Banner or a Hulk or something, because it's like, give me a little bit of, I know it's out there. Give me a little team up, a little cameo by someone, but more than a cameo than we got. So yeah, I think it's cool. I give them props for it, and we can still have a straight Man of Steel movie down the road.
Okay. Well, Mike, this was great. I really had a blast talking about comic book heroes and all this stuff. I love all this stuff, so I've really enjoyed this. Before I let you go, do you have any sponsors you'd like to thank, and is there anything you'd like to say to the fans?
Yeah, I want to thank all my friends and family for supporting me. I want to thank Team Kern. I want to thank Steve McCarthy. He's been my new strength and conditioning coach, and he's got me to another level. I mean, that guy, I can't say enough positive words about him. I mean, I've seen him pretty much every day throughout the week, so he's a stud. Shout out to my chiropractor, Dr. Ellis. He's fixed me up real good. And all my fighters at MMA Stop. I mean, there's some really good guys there, and that's about it. And yeah, no, a good conversation. This was a way better interview than just talking about how much you want to, beat up somebody.
Mm-hmm. That's why I decided to flip the script on you. I'm sure everyone's been asking how you're going to win and how you're going to do it and all this stuff. And are you going to win? I mean, obviously you're going to win. You're not going there to lose. So I figured I'd switch it up.
I'm going to lose by flying.
Yeah.
Lock.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
right.
But so. No, it's awesome. Yeah, if you ever want to talk about superheroes or food, I'm down. Those are my two favorite things besides MMA.
All right. Sounds good, Mike. I wish you the best of luck coming up on March 29th at World Series of Fighting 9 against Shane Kirchen.
Okay. Hey, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.